Let's go ahead and
Press announced today the shooting and killing of a rapper at a restaurant in South Los Angeles earlier this month. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia with the story.
2 weeks after rapper PnB Rock was gunned down at the South Los Angeles Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles, the LAPD says they've made arrests in connection to the murder. The rapper's real name is Rakeem Allen, arrested in connection to his slaying a 17-year-old boy who was booked for murder, and his stepmother, Chantel Trone, both were taken into custody yesterday. The 17-year-old was arrested in Lawndale. Chantel Trone was arrested in Gardena and booked for being an accessory to the murder. Freddie Lee Trone, the 17-year-old's father, is still at large. Detectives say he was involved in PnB Rock's murder as well. On September 12th, Rock showed up at this Roscoe's with his girlfriend and posted on social media he was there. Police say the suspect went into the restaurant and robbed him. The rapper was shot and killed during a struggle for his jewelry. At the restaurant today, no one from Roscoe's would talk. A representative telling us they're not talking as long as Freddie Lee Trone was still out there. In fact, some customers at the restaurant and strip mall told us they were too afraid to talk to us on camera because Trone was still at large. The LAPD isn't saying much about how they arrested Trone's 17-year-old son and the teen's stepmother because the investigation is ongoing. Detectives are asking for the public's help in finding Trone. If you see him, call police. Don't approach him. Detectives say he's regarded to be armed and dangerous.
And that is a photo of him on the screen. The father, of the man that was the trigger, pulled the trigger. The 17-year-old is alleged to have actually pulled the trigger in this case. And then the stepmother charged with accessory to murder after the fact. So the way this went down, police obviously got a tip, obviously, right? And this 17-year-old boy and his stepmother, they get arrested, okay? 17-year-old boy, they've all three been charged, okay? Including the father who's on the run, who remains at large, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. I don't think it'll take long before they pull him on in. But they did publicly release his name, and they have said that Freddie Lee Trone is considered armed and dangerous. Now, the son was actually arrested in the Lawndale section of the Lawndale, make sure I say that right, the Lawndale section or neighborhood of the South Bay neighborhood, okay, booked on suspicion of murder. Then his stepmother gets arrested, and she's been identified as a 32-year-old woman named Chantel Trone. She was taken into custody in Gardena and booked on suspicion of being an accessory to the murder. Now, as you all know, PnB Rock was born Rakeem Hashim Allen, shot and killed at this Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle restaurant on September the 12th. Many people, and like myself, a crime like that, oh yeah, they were going to get caught eventually. No question about that. They were going to get caught. Now, the LA Police Department has said that a suspect basically entered this restaurant, right? Approached PnB Rock as he was eating lunch with his girlfriend. She had already posted a picture of their food and their location on Instagram. But here's something very interesting that Los Angeles police said today. They said that these two suspects, Freddie Trone and his son, were actually sitting in the parking lot for up to an hour before PnB Rock and his girlfriend even showed up. So essentially almost insinuating that it may not have been the Instagram post that would have, shown his location. We'll know more as the case goes to trial. We will know more as the case goes to trial. As you all know, PnB Rock was pronounced dead at the hospital. He's known for his singles, Fleek and Selfish, originally from Philadelphia. He had been most recently based in Los Angeles. And at the time of his death, he had 2.5 million followers on Instagram. His music is considered excellent by some fans. They said that he tried to rap about the right things and that he had a bright future ahead of him. Now, some fans are really giving the girlfriend a very difficult time as she's going through quite a difficult time. And if it is true that these killers, these jackers, were sitting in that parking lot for up to an hour before PnB Rock showed up, then we have to question, was the post or the location post even part of the equation here? Was this as some sort of a crime of opportunity where they were like casing the area, knowing that Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles draws a lot of different celebrities, actually? But if you are famous, and even if you're not famous, if you got enemies, do not post your location. And I still think that it's really the big responsibility of this lies on the developers at Facebook, at Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg should have already pulled a team together to update the location feature. When you roll a feature out, you must update it and keep it updated. Obviously, make it a little bit harder for people to post their location. That sort of a thing, right? So that's kind of how I feel about that. I think that if you roll the feature out, you should, be responsible to maintain that, essentially. But we'll see. It'll all come out in trial. And of course, Freddie Trone on the run. I don't think it'll take long to catch up with him. But ain't that something, though? A father and son. Who would have thought? A father and son. And a stepmother. Shout out to everybody who came through on the Crime and Investigations channel. You all definitely stay tuned as we are, back on the grind again, essentially. And before we go too far here, shout out to the Leak U community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Shout out to the Leak U community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Please hit the like. Thank you. Please hit the like. Thank you. Please hit the like. Thank you. Please hit the like. Thank you.
Sometimes that StreamYard little feature is delayed, which really sucks. It really, really sucks. But yes, in the description, you will see links to the various podcast platforms that we are now streaming on. We're dropping a stream pretty much on a daily. That is why you don't see any content on the leaku.com channel or page anymore. It's pretty much like I would say like a drive-in movie where you kind of drive in and you kind of choose where you want to go type deal. So yeah, we're definitely moving into a direction where we are offering paid content. So so get in now while it's free, baby, because it is coming now. We are on Spotify, like you heard on the little commercial there. We are on Spotify. We are on Google Podcast, Apple, and Amazon Music. Again, that is where you will find the exclusive content. If there's something you're looking for, mainly around, UFOs, stories that I've broke, really exclusive content, then go hit the podcast site. You may see it up there. And I am premiering, getting, everything built up, trying to get some of that content, that older content, which is timeless, and get it up there. But I'm only dropping one a day. So, and I've got a couple hundred more to go, and I'm still adding. Sometimes I'll go and just add one. Like tonight, I'll probably download this and add it on in to the podcast as well. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming through. Shout out to the Crime and Investigations channel, and shout out to the Leak U community as well. Until next time.